Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel, Bachelor Show. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. Let's get straight into it, because this season of the Golden Bachelorette has given us more than enough drama to talk about. And no, it's not just the tension between Joan Vassos and the men vying for her affection. It's the fact that Joan might not actually be in it for love at all. Spoiler alert. There's a lot more going on here than meets the eye, and I'm about to break it all down for you. So grab your popcorn and let's discuss why Joan Vassos may be the wrong person to be the Golden Bachelorette. First of all, let's be real. Joan's journey has raised a lot of questions, especially when it comes to her intentions on this show. She seems to have a clear vision of what she wants, but the more we watch her interactions with the men, the more it becomes apparent that she might not be willing to make the real sacrifices required for a relationship, especially not with Chock or anyone else for that matter. I mean, how much is Joan really willing to give up for love? The more I watch her, the more it feels like she's more interested in the idea of love and companionship than actually taking the risks needed to find it. It's not uncommon for people to be skeptical about relationships, especially when you're at an age where you've been through enough life experiences to know what you want and what you're not willing to tolerate. But here's the thing. This is the Golden Bachelorette, not just a regular dating show. The whole point of this season is to show that love can happen at any age, but also to highlight the depth of connection that can develop when people are ready for something real. And right now, Joan doesn't seem like she's ready to take that plunge. Let's talk about Joan's interactions with Chock for a moment. Throughout the season, we've seen Joan and Chock grow close, but it's become increasingly obvious that Joan isn't willing to fully meet Chock halfway. While Chock has been open, vulnerable, and eager to get to know Joan on a deeper level, Joan's emotional walls have been higher than ever. It's one thing to be cautious when it comes to opening your heart, but Joan's hesitancy feels like more than just a protective mechanism. It feels like a refusal to make the kind of emotional investment that a real relationship needs. Chock has shown multiple times that he's willing to invest in Joan, both emotionally and physically. He's patient, understanding, and willing to be there for her through whatever challenges arise. But Joan's response? A lot of hesitation and reluctance. Instead of showing a willingness to take things to the next level, she seems to always find reasons to hold back. This isn't just a small issue. This is a red flag for anyone looking for a meaningful, long-lasting relationship. And let's not forget the conversations Joan has had with the other men. There's a clear pattern emerging. She's more interested in the validation she gets from being the center of attention than in forming genuine connections. You can see it in the way she interacts with the men who don't stand out to her as much. She gives them just enough to keep them hooked, but not enough to make them feel like they're truly getting a shot at her heart. It's as if she's more interested in keeping her options open than committing to any of the men she's spending time with. Joan's desire for attention and affection is completely valid. Everyone wants to feel special, but when that becomes the driving force behind a person's actions, it becomes less about the relationship and more about the ego. And from what we've seen so far, Joan's actions have made it clear that she's far more focused on receiving love than giving it. Relationships are supposed to be built on mutual respect, compromise, and sacrifice. If Joan isn't willing to meet someone halfway, that's a major problem in terms of compatibility. One of the most glaring issues with Joan's behavior is her reluctance to make any significant sacrifices for the sake of love. If you've been watching the show closely, you'll know that Chock and the other men have been quite open about what they're willing to give up to be with Joan. Some of them have openly talked about moving cities, leaving their current lives behind, any indication that she's willing to make similar sacrifices. In fact, the idea of moving for a relationship seems to make her uncomfortable. This is a crucial moment in the Golden Bachelorette, because the entire premise of the show is to prove that love isn't limited by age, and that real, meaningful relationships can happen when people are willing to step outside their comfort zones and make sacrifices for one another. But Joan's behavior has shown that she may not be ready for that. She hasn't indicated any desire to leave her current life behind for the man she supposedly wants to be with. And that's a huge problem. Love requires risk. It requires vulnerability. And Joan doesn't seem willing to take that leap. We can't forget that Joan is a woman of a certain age, which means she has probably had a long, full life filled with relationships, heartbreaks, and lessons learned. There's no doubt that she's looking for something meaningful and lasting, but that doesn't mean she should be allowed to sit on the sidelines of a relationship. If she's really interested in finding love with Chock or any of the other men, she needs to meet them halfway and take risks just like they have. But here's the thing, Joan probably won't make those sacrifices, and if she doesn't, it's likely that the show will continue to drag out, and it won't be as rewarding as we all hoped it would be. We've all seen these types of reality dating shows before. The women who aren't truly committed to the journey or to making the necessary sacrifices tend to get eliminated pretty quickly. In this case, though, Joan's decision not to take a leap of faith for love could result in a canceled relationship by the end of the season. And that's a shame, because the show had the potential to break new ground in terms of love for older generations. The sad truth is that Joan may not be ready for the emotional commitment it takes to make a relationship work. It's clear that she's not willing to make the kind of sacrifices that Chock or the other men are ready to make for her. While she might have deep affection for some of them, the real question is she willing to take that final step and fully invest herself in a relationship that requires real change and commitment? As of now, the answer is no. In the end, Joan's journey on the Golden Bachelorette may not be what we expected. Rather than the sweet, heartwarming story of a woman who's ready to find love at any age, we're watching a woman who's unsure, hesitant, and unwilling to make the tough choices necessary to build a lasting connection. It's not a good look for the show, and it's not a good look for Joan either. And while Joan might be popular and well-liked by some fans, there's no denying that her behavior is starting to feel like a missed opportunity. The more we see, the more it becomes clear that Joan might not be as ready for love as she claims. And that might just be the reason why her time on the Golden Bachelorette should come to an end, sooner rather than later. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.